Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Cloudsdale Cafe Spotlight segment. And I am your host for tonight's Cinnamon Top. I am also the co-host for the Cloudsdale Cafe podcast. And I am here joined today with a very unique artist. And his name is Rich, and he is from the Rough Sketch. How you doing?
I'm doing very well.
All right. Well, I want to give our very first listeners, a quick rundown of what this Spotlight segment is. And it's basically an opportunity to show to the rest of the fandom these kind of unknown artists that are really making a lot of good work, and they put a lot of heart and soul into these pictures, music, videos, and whatnot, but they're not really getting the proper recognition, and they're kind of invisible. So, me and the rest of the crew of the Cloudsdale Cafe kind of got together and just, started forming this idea of making a spotlight segment to give even the small tumblers and the small artists, the small musicians, that little spot of recognition that they deserve. And this is also the opportunity for the artists themselves to express what they feel, to show them what they had to offer in this fandom, and give them an opportunity to express their creative vision. So, today is the very first episode, and I'm glad I could happen to find a guest. So, how you been doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm kind of honored to be the first person to actually do this.
Yeah. So, tell us about yourself.
Well, there's really not much I can actually tell about myself, but really, I guess I could say why I started drawing in the first place.
All right.
I mean, I've seen a lot of artists. I just kind of want to point out the first artist I actually did see do fan art of Milo. I could say I think it was John Josco. I really like how his style is. I mean, it stays pretty true to the show. I'm not sure why I started drawing, though. I guess I just kind of wanted to jump into it. What better way to start drawing than draw something you like?
So, basically, the show propelled you to start working on drawing.
Yes, pretty much.
So it's basically your main source of inspiration.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
All right, so what can you tell us, what is an Asblog exactly?
I'm not entirely sure, but I guess I'll say how I think. But I'm thinking an Asblog, people just ask you questions, and with whatever your character responds when it was, you just kind of show what kind of emotions they have, and maybe build up a story on that. Or just evolve from there. I'm not entirely sure.
All right. Well, what can you tell us about your character, Rough Sketch?
Ooh, this is fun. Well, Rough Sketch was actually a stallion, but whenever I first started off the blog, I kind of got a question about what he looked like in Rule 63, and before that time, when I was still drawing with the stallion, I kind of got a bit demotivated, though, because I didn't like how my drawings were turning out, though, and they were kind of looking a bit bland and such. And then once I started drawing him as a mare, things started picking up, though. I noticed my drawings were getting a lot more fun to do. So I just kind of kept him as a mare, and then as I started going on with the blog, I kind of tried to build up a little story. And he's frankly a mare, still kind of a stallion, but the mare himself, a notepad, is actually a whole pony. So Rough Sketch is still in the back, though. I guess you could say he's in the back seat while Notepad's in the driver's seat.
All right. So, who is this Notepad?
I guess Notepad's actually the female version of Rough Sketch. They're both sharing the same body, but like I said, Rough Sketch is kind of in the back seat, just kind of watching everything.
All right. So what exactly is the story that is revolving around between these two characters?
Well, the thing about Rough Sketch and Notepad is that whenever Rough Sketch was born, he had a kind of a disorder, a birth defect. He was a unicorn at first, but because of a 1 in a million kind of birth defect, he ended up losing his horn. He can't use magic. But he can still, over time, he builds up this magic though, and things gonna happen along the way, which I don't want to talk about yet, because that's gonna happen in the story. But it ends up in making all these crazy personas. Instead of just, boom, making a new pony right then, the persona kind of takes over and pony currently. So, it progresses, you see what happens though. I'll introduce new characters and such, but for now, I'm still trying to work my style. Making my own unique style, and that's pretty much it right now.
Alright, so you're still working on the aesthetics of the characters, how would they look, right?
Pretty much. Still going through a bit of concept art for other characters.
Alright. And so what kind of type of ass blog is this? Is this going to be a more story driven or more like a fun type of a pony blog, or what exactly do you have in mind for this?
I want to make it a fun blog, but at the same time, it's going to be a bit story driven. Once I do pick up a story though, it will be a bit interactive. People can, pitch in. But it's still going to follow a basic storyline though. Where I practically choose what happens.
Yeah, since you have full creative control of the blog, you kind of basically build up this overarching story arc that basically revolves around the blog itself, and it will change depending on how the story goes. But
yeah,
does your followers have any control over it? Like, they could ask specific questions that will make your character do certain things that will drastically change the course of the story?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's like a choose your own adventure. It kind of ends in one way though. So all these different paths you can take, it's all gonna just come to one final conclusion.
That you have already planned prior.
Yes, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
So this is kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing, having one person that has two alter egos fighting, within themselves. But this doesn't have to deal with anything with the terms of the code of morality, or what between versus what one pony has to do the right thing versus what they want.
Well, actually, it's not going to be like a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde thing. It's actually going to be, well, at one point, there's going to be both a rough sketch and a notepad, two separate ponies, but along with what I was talking about my story, though, and the whole magic thing being built up, pretty much, you'll see what will happen, but there'll be two separate ponies. Because it's not the first time that Notepad has had a persona. And you'll see that other persona coming in some other time in the story.
Alright. So what else can you tell us about these types of personas? What are we going to expect?
Well, there's an evil persona, and Rough Sketch used to travel around. When I say traveling, he got around a lot. I mean, pretty much along the quest area. And he also had a friend who he'd go with, but that friend is no longer with him anymore. His friend pretty much just went up and left one day, and after that happened, he kind of just settled down in Ponyville.
This is another character that lives in Ponyville, and does he have any interaction with the characters from the show?
Oh, you talking about the main six?
Yeah.
Really not at all. Just, I guess you'd say if Rough Sketch was in the show, he'd end up being a background character.
End up being like, with Lyra and Berry Punch.
Yeah, I like to imagine that you'd see Rough Sketch in the park, just drawing or something.
Alright. So, tell us, how do you manage to get into this fandom?
That's actually a really fun one to do. Well, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I heard that My Little Pony came back. And, being at my age 2 years ago, I was kind of younger, so I kind of had like a negative look on My Little Pony though, because I think it was 80s My Little Pony, how it was all girly and and things where you're just like this, my girl get like this. So, anyways, how it happened though, I was kind of all curious about this and such. So, when I was on iTunes and such, just I kind of went through the 3 episodes, and I saw they had the first part of on had for download, and it was free. So I guess I'm going to download it and check it out. And I checked it out. First impression, it was actually pretty good. But then again, should I really be watching this? And this is kind of the time before I knew who bronies were. Because, at that time, I didn't really want to go much on the internet, and I had my own, I'd hang out with them, but other than that, I didn't really know much about pop culture. As I kept it my own little secret, it was actually like a week after I watched part 1, but I then watched part 2. So, after I watched part 2, I kind of go with my friends and kind of joke with them and say, hey guys, I watched My Little Pony, I kind of did it as a joke at first, but then secretly, I kind of liked the show, so then I kind of started watching it. And let's just say one night I went through like first half of the season, and then I had to go to bed and wake up for school the next day. So, yeah, I just kind of jumped into fandom, kind of unknowingly, and then a bit later on, because I saw this fan art, and I was kind of wondering who draws all this fan art. And then also, My Little Brony, I found that. Then I kind of started knowing all about this, And then also to, I think it was whenever I found the website, Super Who's News. That's whenever I finally got on Tumblr. Because they were featuring some Tumblr blogs, like Ask Dr. Colgate. It's actually the very first blog I followed.
That's a very old blog.
Oh, yes, it is. Surprisingly, the blog is following me, so that's actually pretty big for me.
It's kind of like, that from humble beginnings, you're going to you're basically ascending to greatness.
Yeah. I mean, the main reason why I got some of those is that, I kind of want to draw and upload my stuff. Maybe, I don't know, just kind of have an ask blog. Ask questions and develop a character. Which I'm still not currently doing. It's just,
Alright.
Working in a style. But, yes.
So, you're basically an artist, and you mostly post your work on Tumblr. And thus you are part of this ever-growing Tumblr pond spectrum, which is, in and of itself, the subculture within this subculture. And create this very interesting, thing that we're using this website, which is not solely intended for Ask Plus, but we're kind of like taking it over. And it has become this really big thing. And the really good thing about Tumblr Pond is that it's really, really productive. And it's constantly, producing a lot of fantastic artwork. There's a lot of talented people working on it. There's everything from comic books to videos to musics, and everything is shared and discussed mostly through Tumblr. If it's on SoundCloud, then somebody's going to post it on Tumblr, and it's going to, be discussed there eventually. So this is kind of like a huge filter of the culture, which My Little Pony and the Brony fandom is a huge cultural boom in this generation. And it's mostly centered around, young men. But what do you think about this huge cultural boom that has been basically taking the internet and social media by storm?
I think it's pretty fun. I mean, whenever I'm out walking around, I kind of like to look around and see, what kind of things are left behind. Let's say, as a joke in my school, I would draw kind of a poster of a pony, kind of like a pink pie, and then I have a little saying smile. I just post around my school, so I was kind of going around seeing where bronies have been though, because you could draw something and it could leave some behind, or maybe you see some merchandise. So let's say if I'm out in a mall and then I see a lot of brony stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's just fun.
It is really fun. I think that we are one of the few cultures that actually made fun important. We really have made fun important, and this fandom, it really is. If you're not having fun in this fandom, you are definitely doing something wrong.
Yes.
That's what I believe. So, what for you does it mean to be a Tumblr pawn? And for those who don't understand this terminology, Tumblr pawn actually means having it's the My Little Pony fandom side of Tumblr. So, what is it to you to be part of the Tumblr pawn?
I guess I could say it's fun for one thing, and being part of it, I mean, you meet a lot of cool people. I, myself, over the months I've had my blog, I've met some really cool people, actually talked to them, got to know them a bit.
So, it's kind of like it gave you access to all these artists and just like regular fans, and you can just talk to them and it just becomes friends.
Yeah, I've talked to people, not all, kind of around it. I mean, people in Europe, South America, and then, Canada. There are a lot of people in Canada.
There is a lot of bronies, a lot of Canadian bronies out there.
Kind of funny when you think of it.
But I think one of the most interesting things that is happening on Tumblr Pond is this collaboration ladder that just basically just spontaneously creates itself. Because when you talk to an artist on Tumblr, whether it be big or small, and they will respond to you, and everybody there is so willing to collaborate with you, in any way they can. And it is such a thrilling thing, a thrilling experience to have. You can have so many artists from different types of fields working together to make something. And a Tumblr is just kind of like that, but in steroids. Because there is a lot of Tumblrs that basically gets together and makes projects. For example, the Coop, which is like a collaboration of 6-7 Tumblrs. And you have 6-7 different artists collaborating at the simultaneously making a story, creating an experience. And that to me is just a really amazing thing about Tumblr, and it really is fun, and you can just enjoy yourself in it, and it's simply fantastic. Yeah. So, so My Little Pony drove you to draw, right?
Pretty much. I did draw a bit before, but I never got serious at it until My Little Pony came along.
So it's basically like this huge, kind of like change reaction, where there's a lot of people like you that have never drawn or did anything artistic all their lives, but all of a sudden this show kind of motivates them so much, and they actually get really good at it because of ponies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, have ponies change any part of your life drastically?
I guess I could say that. I mean, I'm kind of a better person. I mean, the whole gender barrier and such, I don't really see it there anymore. I mean, of course, you still have some things that a man and then a woman should do, but then, it's kind of like a lot smaller than it used to be for me. Also, I guess it's made me a much more positive person. And also, toleration, the phrase love and toleration. I kind of go for like the loving part more, but then of course you have toleration for whenever there are those kind of people.
So what do you think about love and tolerance? Do you actually believe in that, or do you just think it's like it's a good message, but it's not something that you would, live with?
Yeah. I'm not sure where it came from exactly. Did it come directly from the show, or was it something us Bernies put together?
I think it's basically part of the fandom.
So I never did understand where the origin from love and toleration came from. I never really looked it up. To find it out.
I haven't really, but it's assumedly the main message that the show is trying to bring. That we all have to love and tolerate one another. Which is a beautiful message.
The main message is like...
It is a really nice, utopic message, and that's the problem. It's so perfect that it's not really going to work. It's a really lovely idea. And it's a nice philosophy, but it doesn't really go well with everybody. There are some who do, that they really, really believe in that, but, again, we gotta respect everybody's, decisions and beliefs. So, if you want to believe that based upon a cartoon show, I wouldn't blame you, because if you look at Spider-Man, one of the biggest quotes from Spider-Man is with great power comes great responsibility. And yes, that phrase right there, those are words to live by. It applies to, like, everything in life. It's really, that is something that a person can live with, and, it can live a good, fulfilling life just with that motto.
Also, can't forget about friendship is magic.
Friendship is magic, of course. And
that's why Pink Fight like fourth wall. She's friends with everyone. Special power.
I think that's kind of the interesting thing, is that the show deals with relationships. Has the show helped you, dealing with like relationships when it comes to friends, or,
I can tolerate. As in, like, if I don't like someone, I'm not going to go out of my way and be a jerk to them. I'll just kind of belong. Kind of deal with it.
Alright, so what is your favorite thing about the series?
Waking up like every Saturday morning, this new episode, it gets me out of bed early. That's one thing. I don't know, I guess I just like the show. I can't exactly my finger on what I like exactly. It's just it's a show. Fun. Also have a lot of pop culture in it. Every now and then I kind of throw like something at the fans, us bronies. And I kind of noticed in the latest episode you had, I don't know if I should call it Time Turner or Doctor Who's, but while the CMC was cutting a little lettuce or something, the Doctor just kind of jumped out in front of it, and he was wearing a parachute and a bow tie. And in the Doctor Who fandom, pears is not a thing that Doctor likes. And also, bow ties are cool.
Yeah, it's just really, it's fun how the fandom likes to take parodies from other fandoms. And it kind of merges it. So, slowly, My Little Pony's becoming, like, the fandom for other fandoms.
I don't know, it's actually kind of funny because, the thing that kind of pushed me in the beginning of I started listening to, house music and electronic dubs and some other, it kind of brought me into all these kind of things. At first, I didn't used to watch Doctor Who. I heard about it. But then once I started watching My Little Pony, and I heard something about the Doctor, it kind of pushed me into Doctor Who, and it also pushed me to love music. I make music myself, I listen to it, and I enjoy it. It's all I like.
Yeah, it's just, it's a really interesting thing about My Little Pony. Like, people who watch the show, they rediscover things that they used to like. Isn't that a very strange thing? You know, that just spontaneously happens.
It is strange.
Yeah. I guess that's something that happens to everybody. Everybody's experience in the fandom is different, but you know, it's different, it's unique, but it's great because sometimes you rediscover things that you didn't know that you liked, or things that you didn't know about yourself, and you find it either in the art, in the music, in the writing. Question: do you like fan fictions, or do you casually breeze through them?
Oh, I used to be like really, really big on fan fiction before I got into art. And I did like fan fiction. I don't want to say what fan fiction's about. Oh, it's not bad. It's kind of based on what my ass blog's about my character rough sketch, because he's in the story. But, you know, once I started drawing, I kind of had less and less time to actually write my fan fiction. It was actually decent fan fiction. I mean, it got about 1,000 reads, and I had 7 chapters on it. It was decent. I mean, it wasn't the best, but then it was just one of the fan fictions. Like, you like it, or you don't care for it. And also, human Equestria, I know, but, kind of centers around the character Max Powers. He will pop up. But he's one of those characters that is, I used to say he's overpowered. But then again, you know, Max Powers, the name kind of counts on that. And I also want to say, he's kind of, I guess you could say he's not a doctor, kind of like that traveler. He has his own way of getting around. I think though, you know, Ghost universes, and let's say I'm playing a video game, I name my character Max Powers, and I pretend I'm Ham. Playing the video game. That's something I like to do. He's just a character I created. Oh, you know, I kind of spun it off. I was talking about fanfiction, suddenly started talking about a character. Sorry about that. But yes, fanfiction I wrote centered on Max Powers. He's just a character. He will be popping up in the blog. Spoilers. But think of it like near the end, because as I'm an artist and such, I'm going to be a lot kind of things. I'm actually starting to draw humans a bit more often, because I can't draw humans. But I want to be good enough, though, and know. Because hands are pretty tough to draw. That's one thing. I still can't draw hands.
Yeah, they are really difficult. Yeah, it's the same thing with ponies. You know, they have a trick. You just gotta keep working on them, and you'll find your own way of doing it. Now, on your Tumblr blog, what is the objective you're trying to achieve?
My Tumblr blog. I guess pretty much there are 2 things I want to do. I'm trying to have fun by becoming a better artist, and second thing is meeting cool new people. A lot of cool people out there, you just have to find them.
Alright, that's a really good objective. Just having fun, meeting people, enjoying art, and improving, and making better art. It just is a really thrilling experience being in this Tumblr pond fandom. And this is why I just want to take that opportunity to discuss this type of subject, discuss like people who really work on it, every artist. And thank you very much for, you know, being here, like giving us of your time, you know, trying to, you know, express how you feel about this, and you know what really is being a Tumblr ass blog, and it really is a thrilling, exciting field. Yeah, it's like a subculture within the subculture, and I'm really glad that you have taken the objective of having fun and looking forward to improve. So, unfortunately, this is about as much time as we have. Thanks again for coming, and for anybody For anybody who wants to
Being
see, yeah, for being the first one, like the very first.
It's an honor. That's what I think what that is.
Yeah. And for everybody watching right now on YouTube, if you wish to follow him, his Tumblr is rusketch.tumblr.com. The link would be in the description down below. And for more episodes of the Cloudsdale Spotlight, be sure to subscribe to our channel at the Cloudsdale Cafe on YouTube. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week with more interviews and more discussions about My Little Pony and the fandom that is basically consuming everything that is around the internet.